So the other day, I decided to count up all of the financial accounts my wife and I have. We're talking about all the investment accounts, IRAs, 401ks, our HSAs for healthcare, all of our bank accounts, checking and savings, as well as credit cards. We have 28. And the reason I counted all these up was because I got an email from a viewer, and she was struggling to manage all of these accounts that she has. And she was hoping that she could find maybe one app where she could sort of bring all of these accounts together in one place so that she could get a complete overview of her financial situation. And she'd reached out to a financial advisor, and they wanted to charge her $3,000 just to set this up for her. And she asked me, is that a good deal? No, it's not a good deal. It's not. A good deal is over here somewhere. What that financial advisor offered is somewhere, my arm is not long enough, but it's over this way somewhere. It's a horrible deal. So what we're going to do in this episode is I'm going to walk through exactly how we manage 28 accounts. We use a free app. It's called Personal Capital. It's very easy to use. It's very easy to set up. So what I'm going to do, walk through it. I'm going to show you the 5 key ways we use this tool to keep track of all of these accounts. And then at the end, I've got sort of, I guess, a bonus, if you will, a bonus feature that Personal Capital offers that I don't think a lot of folks, even folks that have used it for a while, know about. So let's get started. So the first step is to create a Personal Capital account. It literally takes just a couple of seconds. Here you can see their website. You just need your email. Obviously, you'll create a password, and you'll also need your phone number. And it takes about 30 seconds, and you've created a free account. Once you've created a free account, the next step is to link all of the financial accounts you want to monitor through Personal Capital. In my experience, they have just about every financial institution you can think of. Here you can see, of course, some of the major banks and investment firms like Vanguard and Chase. You can also search for your financial institution. We have a credit card from Alliant Credit Union, which is a small credit union in Illinois. And of course, Personal Capital has it, and we link that account. Now, you'll notice that to link any account, you'll have to include the username and password for that account. And that does cause some folks some concern. They want to know, how safe is Personal Capital? I can tell you that they use industry standard security measures. And in fact, here you can see they walk through all of the steps they take to protect your data. One thing I can tell you is that they don't actually store the username and password that you input for Alliant Credit Union or Chase or Vanguard or any of the other financial institutions. They use a company called Yodlee, which is a data aggregator used, frankly, by most major banks. So while I'm no internet security expert, what I can tell you is that Personal Capital uses industry standard encryption, fraud detection, and authentication to keep your data safe. And at least I've never had an issue with it, and I've used Personal Capital for years. After you've linked all of your accounts, you'll be able to go to the overview screen. A sample of it is what you see on your screen. And this is where we'll begin the list of 5 ways Personal Capital makes managing multiple accounts so easy. The first is what you see along the left-hand column of this dashboard. It literally lists all of the accounts that you've linked, and it categorizes them by the type of account. So under what they call cash, you'll see all of your bank accounts. Under the invest, of course, you'll see all of your investment accounts. And here you'll see not just taxable accounts, but also retirement accounts, as well as HSAs, for example. Below that, you'll see any and all credit cards that you've linked to Personal Capital. Below that, you'll see any loans that you have, such as car loans, for example. Of course, below that, you see mortgages that you might have. And then below that is other, and we use that actually to track the value of our home. One of the neat features with Personal Capital is you can connect your home via Zillow, and it will bring in your home's estimated value from Zillow automatically and update it. Now, one thing to point out on this left-hand column is that you'll see the balances of each of these accounts. For example, under cash, the First Bank of America balance is just over $5,000. Below that, you'll see it says 3 minutes ago. You might wonder what that is. That tells you the last time that Personal Capital updated this information. So that's important to know to make sure you're getting a timely picture of all of your financial accounts. So that's the first thing that Personal Capital does. The second thing you'll find in the middle section of this dashboard, starting with the net worth at the top, what it will do is take all of that data and present it to you in useful ways. So for example, obviously net worth shows you all of your assets minus all of your liabilities. You can actually click into this and see an entire page that's based on your net worth, but then breaks it down by account. Below that, you'll see budgeting. You can actually set up a budget within Personal Capital and track that budget by category. We do that every single month. And as part of the budgeting, to the right of that, you'll see cash flow, which shows you, as you might expect, all of the income that's come in and all of the expenses that's gone out. One of the things that I like about the cash flow screen on the income side is that you can narrow it down so that you're only looking at your investment accounts. And you might wonder why I like to do that. I do that because it shows me all of the dividends and interest income that our investment accounts have generated over the month. Speaking of investments, below that you'll see a running sort of graph of your portfolio balances. Again, all of these, you can click into each box and it will open up a new page and give you details. The last two boxes show you your retirement savings. It's basically a retirement planning tool that is extremely robust. You can spend forever just playing with that retirement tool. And next to that, you can track your emergency fund. They have an emergency fund saver tool that helps you plan for and save for emergencies. So the first two things we looked at kind of gave us a bird's eye view of all of the financial accounts. The great thing about Personal Capital is it allows you to drill down into specific accounts. And that brings us to the third thing that Personal Capital does so well, and that's cash flow. And that's what you see on the screen. It allows you to look at all of your income or all of your expenses or both. It also allows you to look at it across all of your accounts at the same time, which is what you're seeing here. Or you can be very specific. You can look at just one account. You can select any number of accounts. You can also select accounts by type. So for example, you can very quickly say, let me look at all of my bank accounts and just the expenses from bank accounts or just the expenses from credit cards. So that's the third thing that Personal Capital enables you to do. The fourth thing, and this is related, is budgeting. So I've used a lot of budget apps in my lifetime, probably more than I care to remember. And there are a lot of good ones out there. We use exclusively now Personal Capital because it's so easy. You can see in this expense screen, it lists the categories of the various expenses. First, I found that Personal Capital is extremely accurate in categorizing our expenses. It's not perfect, but I probably only spend maybe 5 minutes a month correcting categories. There's usually just a handful, and you can literally just click into a row and with a drop down, change the category. You can also create new categories, and as you can see from the screenshot, you can create tags as well. And that can be useful. For example, you may have some sort of home maintenance category, and you might throw everything in there from getting a plumbing repair fixed to, I don't know, maybe you pay someone to cut your grass, or maybe you cut it yourself and you have expenses related to repairing the lawnmower. You can add tags if you want. So for example, you might have a tag for yard maintenance rather than creating a separate category. Now, when it comes to investments, this is really where Personal Capital shines, and that could be an entire video. I mean, they show you everything from your asset allocation. They compare your asset allocation to their recommended approach. You can do an analysis of all of your investments. The one thing, though, that I want to show you today is what they call the Retirement Fee Analyzer. Now, you may recall I mentioned a retirement planner. That's separate. That's a whole nother robust tool. What this tool does is determines what fees you're paying. And what's amazing about Personal Capital is if you've connected all your investment accounts, it pulls all of your accounts data into Personal Capital. It can then look up the fees for each of the, say, mutual funds or ETFs that you own. It can calculate the weighted average cost of all fees across your entire portfolio and show you that here. But more importantly, it can then show you the effects those fees will have on your portfolio over a long time of investing. And that's something that I think makes Personal Capital, frankly, by itself worth using. If you've never really thought about the fees you're paying or the effect they can have on your wealth, I encourage you to link your accounts to Personal Capital and run the retirement fee analyzer. I'll be honest with you, it may you may get a little depressed when you see it, but better to get depressed now and take action than to let it go in 10 or 20 or 40 years from now. Wish you'd made some different choices. So this is an excellent tool to take a look at the fees you're paying in all of your investments. So I promised you a bonus feature, and here it is. If you go to the profile and settings in Personal Capital, you find it under your name and then settings, you can see that you can set an email subscription preference. I have mine set at a daily email. You can set it at a weekly email, and of course there are other options as well. But what this will do is it will send you via email a snapshot of your finances. Here's an example of what the daily financial monitor, as they call it, looks like. This is actually from my own account. So you can see, first of all, it'll show me the transactions from the day before. And I'm looking at it thinking, I can't believe Netflix now costs $16 a month, but like, whatever. It shows us your top gainers and losers in your investment accounts. It looks like some of my individual stocks did, I guess some did okay, some not so well. And it also shows you accounts that may need your attention. That could be that they need to re-authenticate so that they can download data. I get this email every day. As I mentioned, you can get it weekly. I find it to be very useful. So there you go. It's really that easy. It shouldn't take you more than a few minutes to sign up, link your accounts, and then start having Personal Capital pull all your data in and managing it all in one place. And the good news is I didn't charge you $3,000. Until next time, remember, the best thing money can buy is something that doesn't involve giving a financial advisor $3 grand for 15 minutes of work, or as I like to say, financial freedom.